Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and in today's video it is once again that time of the month where we give our WWE PLE predictions. This time around it is the Elimination Chamber 2026. We got 4 matches on this card, and for the first time in a long time I have actually waited until the SmackDown beforehand to do the predictions, and I'm really glad I did, because man, did a lot happen on this most recent episode of SmackDown. We are like 30 minutes removed from that kind of weird main event between Logan Paul and Jacob Fatu, yet here we are, and we're going to go ahead and get into my predictions for the Elimination Chamber. What do I think is going down? We got 4 matches, 2 Elimination Chamber matches, and 2 title matches. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. The first matchup on the card is for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, not for the Women's Tag title. This will be the last video, however, where Becky Lynch does have to hold the Women's Tag Team title, because I'm getting the Women's Intercontinental Championship in figure form finally. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. And it is going to be Becky Lynch defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against not against Lyra Valkyria. Go back a little bit. Excuse me. Defending against AJ Lee. Now, personally, I am quite excited for this matchup, mainly for the fact that it's AJ Lee's first singles match in WWE in like 10 years, and it's a pretty big deal, but I really do feel like they kind of fumbled this feud just a little bit by how long. Now, this might not be Becky's fault, it might not even be WWE's fault, it might just be for how long AJ Lee was out for, but I really feel like AJ Lee came back in September, and we are now finally getting a Mania feud, not even for Mania, for Elimination Chamber. I get it. AJ Lee's from Chicago. It makes sense. But at the end of the day, WrestleMania is right there. But anyhow, guys, we do have Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. And this one's a little hard to predict because it really could go 2 ways. Becky Lynch could just beat AJ Lee, and that's that. The feud's done. AJ Lee has beaten Becky twice, so it would make sense for Becky to finally get her flesh back a little bit. Or they could go with the alternative route, which I think would actually be kind of cool, and have AJ Lee win the title and then lose it back to Becky at WrestleMania. And that is actually going to be what I'm predicting. I do think that Becky Lynch will lose the Women's Intercontinental Championship simply for the fact that she's just going to get too hot-headed. She's going to lose her temper. She's going to lose her cool. AJ Lee's going to capitalize on that unless they have a disqualification finish, which I could actually see them doing. I just kind of thought about that right now. Becky Lynch hits AJ Lee with the title, maybe a double countout, just something to get this feud to WrestleMania, because, they needed this. They haven't been physically active since November against one another, so they really did need this match. But whether it's by disqualification and they do the feud continuing into Mania, or whether she wins the title, I'm going to predict that AJ Lee wins the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and we are going to move on. I'm sure Becky will have it back, probably 3-time Women's IC champ by the time we move on past WrestleMania. But for right now, I'm predicting AJ Lee does knock off the man, and yeah, that's going to be my prediction for the first match. The next matchup on the card is the WWE Women's Elimination Chamber between Raquel Rodriguez, Alexa Bliss, Tiffany Stratton, Asuka, Rhea Ripley, and Kiana James. And real quick, before we get into the predictions, longtime viewers of the channel, you'll be happy to know that I finally got a brand new Alexa Bliss. You guys know, if you've been watching the predictions videos for a long time now, that we've always been using that cruddy basic Alexa Bliss, but finally we got ourselves the Ultimate Edition. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into who I think's going to win and who I think's going to have no chance. And straight out of the gate, Kiana James just isn't winning. She'll be the underdog. They did the same thing with Roxanne Perez last year, and the same thing with Tiffany Stratton the year before that. Kiana James just ain't winning. It's kind of like a trial by fire thing. They chuck her into the Elimination Chamber and hope that she does something good. And I really do think we will get something good out of Kiana. She entered number 3, I believe, in the Royal Rumble and had a really good showing. So, I really think they're kind of pushing both Kiana and Julia, and this is kind of Kiana's big way to get, her push. They gave Julia the U.S. title. They're giving Kiana the Elimination Chamber spot. Next up, I do not believe that Asuka will be winning the Elimination Chamber. I feel like the rivalry of Kairi Sane is there whenever they do it, whether they do it at Mania or whether they do it anywhere else. I'm not quite sure, but I know it is not going to be Asuka, which brings us down to 4, and as much as I hate to say it, I don't think it's going to be Alexa Bliss. I think we're either going to get a Mania match between Alexa and Charlotte, or maybe it's, Alexa and Julia, something like that. I don't think the women's world title is in the cards for Alexa Bliss. Now, if this was Charlotte, maybe. But obviously, Charlotte is not in the Elimination Chamber. She's on SmackDown eating ice cream. However, we're now down to 3, and I'm going to also have to knock down Raquel Rodriguez. Despite the fact that she's been having a great 2026, she just ain't doing it. Like, I don't see them running the Judgment Day storyline to, take over and win all the belts. The only way I could see Raquel getting that Mania match is either one, Roxanne comes back, but I don't feel like that'd really make too much sense, or if she can somehow get in to Liv's match and make it a triple threat match, I could somewhat see that happening. But now that we're down to 2 here, and I don't know if they want to say they spoiled it or not, but because of the fact that Rhea Ripley is no longer one half of the tag team champions, they did the exact same thing last year with Bianca Belair. They took the tag team titles off of her to have her win the Elimination Chamber, and I think that's exactly what we are going to see here. Tiffany Stratton is going to get knocked down. We've gotten too many Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill matches, and I really do think that Rhea Ripley is going to be the one to challenge Jade Cargill, considering the fact that Bianca Belair is still not back. Like, had you asked me, less than a month ago who was winning the Elimination Chamber, I would have been positive, and when I would have told you guys that it was going to be Bianca Belair, but since she is not here, we're going to have to go with Rhea Ripley, and I feel like that's actually a very good option. Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill, I feel like it's just a no-brainer. Out of all the women in the Elimination Chamber, Rhea Ripley's just the one to do it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and predict Rhea Ripley to win the Women's Elimination Chamber. The next matchup on the card is CM Punk, Chicago-made Punk, defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor. Now, this matchup is one of those matchups where it's like, it almost doesn't feel real, at least to me. Like, they ran the match back in Northern Ireland, wherever they were, Dublin, or Belfast is where they were. And they did this matchup, and I was like, oh yeah, cool. Finn Balor, he got his matchup in his hometown. They did the exact same thing last year. But nope. This matchup somehow turned into a full-fledged feud right before WrestleMania. The only issue with Finn Balor and this full-fledged feud is the fact that it is right before WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is waiting, in the distance, sitting in Vegas, waiting for his opportunity at CM Punk, and WWE does not care about this feud. Like, Adam Pearce came out on Raw and said, you want to jeopardize your main event of WrestleMania for this? Like, Finn Balor is a this, apparently, now. Which really sucks because I love Finn Balor personally. I know a lot of people that like Finn Balor. Balor's just one of those reliable guys. He never got his big push. He never got his world title run. And I feel like a lot of people do want to see that, but this just isn't the time. As much as I'd love Finn Balor to pull like a Bryan Danielson and slip into that Mania spot, it's just too big of a match. I know WWE loves to do their big time matchups, and this isn't the Vince McMahon yes era anymore. Like, TKO is going to book that big money matchup, and that is going to be that. So unfortunately, as much as I'd like to, get into depth about this matchup a little bit more, it's just not in the cards. Finn Balor is not walking out the world title as much as I would love to. I'm sure there's going to be a drop kick into the corner, coup de grace, 1, 2, no, 2.99999 kick out. But in terms of actually who's winning, it's CM Punk, and at the end of the day, there is no arguing with that. CM Punk is moving on to WrestleMania to feud with Roman Reigns, and that is that. So yeah, my prediction, short and sweet, is CM Punk. Next up, you will see that there are no wrestlers on the screen because I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions, similar to last year. I'll give you guys my predictions on what The Rock's final boss, like will Cody sell his soul thing. I'm going to give you guys my predictions on what could possibly be in the box. Now, I don't have a box, so I'm just going to use this coffin and pretend it's a box. The do not open until 2/28/26 box. I thought of something really funny just while I was watching SmackDown. Like, imagine it's just Royce Keys. Like, let me zoom out. Royce Keys is just chilling in a box for the past, 2 or 3 weeks at this point. I highly doubt it'll happen, but, maybe. As for what's actually in the box, maybe new title. I don't really know what it could be. Trios titles would be cool. Come back to this video, give it a like if it's somehow Trios titles, but I highly doubt that. What's actually in the box, I have no idea. I just wanted to go in and mention Royce Keys real quick because, where has this dude been besides the Stephanie McMahon podcast? Other than that, though, dude, show up to work. What was actually in the box, I've heard Chris Jericho, I've heard Royce Keys. Heck, I even saw a YouTube thumbnail earlier of Danhausen. I highly doubt it'll be Danhausen, but if it's Danhausen, sweet. Everybody loves Danhausen. Very fun, very nice, very evil. Anyhow, though, yeah, let's go ahead and actually get into the main event predictions now. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into my main event predictions. It is the men's elimination chamber for the right to challenge Drew McIntyre for the world title at WrestleMania. I'm going to start by saying I'm so happy that this is for the opportunity to fight McIntyre and that McIntyre is actually going to make it to WrestleMania as champ. I remember shortly after he won it, everybody was like, is he going to make it? Probably not. Cody's going to win it back at the chamber. Well, luckily for us, obviously, maybe not luckily for you if you are a Cody Rhodes fan, but personally, I don't want to see Cody anywhere near that title, so I'm very happy that he is in the chamber, not actually challenging for the world title. But without further ado, let's go ahead. We have Logan Paul, LA Knight, Randy Orton, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Cody Rhodes. 3 black men in the elimination chamber. If you know, you know. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and tell you guys. I already know what I think is going to happen. Tell you guys what I think is going to happen. And Javon Evans, of course, is not pictured here because I don't have his figure. But we're going to pretend to knock him down anyhow, because as much as I want Javon Evans to become the youngest world champion, it isn't happening. Like, I would love to witness that, but I don't think personally, at least right now, anybody's going to beat Randy Orton's record. But I mean, the dude's got a couple more years left. For guys that are actually in the chamber, I hate to do it. I hate to be the one to knock him down first, but Trick ain't bringing his lemon pepper steppas the whole way to WrestleMania. That just ain't happening. He's going to be a great heel in the Chicago crowd, who usually loves heels. And I'm really glad, I guess I should probably state the fact that I'm really glad that I waited to film this video, because like literally 3 hours ago when I was going to film this video, Jey Uso was still in the Elimination Chamber. And right before that, I actually saw that I guess there's some advertising stuff in Chicago, like for Bronson Reed, so I'm pretty sure that's why they substituted Logan Paul in. Who actually attacked Jey Uso? I have no clue. Maybe they won't even bring it up in storyline. Maybe it's the same person that attacked Jacob Fatu. I'm really not quite sure. I really hope it's just the Vision and that they maybe do tag team titles at WrestleMania. However, I really feel like the next guy to get out is Logan Paul. I feel like he's just in there to take up Bronson Reed's spot. The Masked Man's going to screw him over, probably unmask. It's most likely going to be Seth Rollins. Where we actually get to that, I'm not quite sure, because obviously we still have Rollins in the mix, LA Knight still feuding with the Vision, Brock Lesnar's in there somewhere. I've heard LA Knight versus Brock Lesnar, but that's why I'm actually going to go ahead and knock down LA Knight next. LA Knight just ain't challenger for the world title. It's 2026. If you haven't accepted that by now, that just sucks. But now we're down to the final 2, and really, it just depends where you want to go with this, because, like, I could easily see them, because either way, I don't think that whoever wins the chamber is going to get a one-on-one WWE title match at Mania. Fatu is going to get in here somehow, and really how they booked Fatu a few hours ago on SmackDown was, like, almost babyface-ish. Nonetheless, though, Fatu will be involved in the world title scene no matter what, so I don't really think it matters, but I am just, for points and for, to be accurate at the end of the year, I'm going to predict Cody Rhodes. I think if anything, Randy Orton might not even be in that match. It might be a fatal 4-way, because obviously I still think Orton attacked Fatu. I'm giving it to Cody. They gave him the King of the Ring last year. It seems like the second he isn't world champion, he's immediately in a number 1 contendership matchup. He didn't win the Rumble, so I feel like they give it to him here. And then maybe Cody loses to Fatu, and that leads to a triple threat match at Mania, or maybe a 4-way. If not, Orton could probably feud with Aleister Black, get his lick back. Considering Aleister and Zelina are just doing the Karrion Kross thing. I'm assuming we'll probably get a Randy Orton heel turn soon. But yeah, I'm going to go to predict that Cody Rhodes does walk out with the dub here in this matchup, and we're going to see Cody, Fatu, McIntyre, and possibly even Orton at WrestleMania in a fatal 4-way. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my WWE Elimination Chamber 2026 predictions. Let's go ahead and run down them one more time. We do have AJ Lee in my personal prediction beating Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, or just beating her in general, whether it's by DQ and she doesn't win the title, whatever. Rhea Ripley to win the Women's Elimination Chamber, Cody Rhodes to win the Men's Elimination Chamber, and then CM Punk to defend successfully against Finn Balor. So guys, thank you all for watching this video. If you made it to the end, please like, subscribe. We are almost on our way to 350 subscribers. But yes, guys, leave your predictions in the comments down below. I thank you guys for watching. If you guys agree with my predictions, go ahead and I guess like the video, like I said for the millionth time, like the video. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.